Alright, so we're here in the Ap1 S2000, and I got this because I want to discuss Ap1 versus Ap2 versus Ap2 drive-by-wire versus CR, because people talk about these things. The cars are not that different, but there's a few things we should talk about. And what's really interesting about going back to an Ap1 is seeing how they started and ended with an aluminum shift knob. They started and ended with the quicker steering ratio. It's a really fun car to drive. Immediately what you notice when you go back into an Ap1 is the steering is quicker than the Ap2s. You got a better, now I say better, but I know people are going to argue with me on this. I like the gear ratios better in the Ap1. They make more sense. For the power band, it's easy to stay up in VTEC. With the Ap2, it's really a frustrating car when it's stock. Once you tune it, it's fine, but there's a couple years that you can't really tune easily. The 2004 to 2005 Ap2, you can't really tune them. And so it's frustrating. Jumping back into an Ap1 like this, it was just a really well-made car. I mean, I'm having a blast right now. Now, of course, I did modify this one. I put a intake on, and the reason I put that intake on, that cold air, is that it makes this fantastic sound at wide open throttle. So if I go around here and I hit VTEC, let me do it. I'm gonna wake up the neighbors, but fuck 'em. Here we go. There's no car that sounds like that. And in 2004, they increased the engine displacement from 2 liters to 2.2 liters, and they lowered the red line. They started softening up the car. They got rid of this aluminum shift knob, which is part of the fun. They got rid of this really quick steering rack, got rid of the twitchy handling characteristics. Right now, what do I notice? I notice how fun this thing is to drive. This thing's just an absolute blast to drive. Low end torque is not a problem, and I've driven some Ap1s where it is a problem, and usually the case is that the car is not in good shape. These cars are getting old now, and so as they get older, it's more and more important to check the car out thoroughly, do a compression test. You know, the VTEC system in here works very well. The car has plenty of drivability. I mean, if we go back, if we want to talk about cars that don't have drivability, we can go back to my my 89 944 Turbo S. That thing had no torque. I would pull out in front of traffic and I'd wait for the boost to kick in, and I would just be sitting there waiting for someone to hit me, and that car took forever to take off. That was a scary car to drive. This car has plenty of low end torque. I'm not sure what the complaint is on that front. It's not going to be like a Corvette or a Viper, but you know, it's totally fine. And it's more a matter of working the gearbox and keeping the revs up, because this engine is fantastic, this gearbox is fantastic. It's just a great car. But I want to talk about the Ap1 because these are so cheap now. If you're looking at it from a perspective of how much money you spend, the Ap1 wins because they're cheap. Right now, I'm under $7,000. Even after paying taxes, I am just under $7,000 into this car, and it's great. It's a lot of fun. And so, you know, coming from my CR, which is the pinnacle of the S2000, you know, there's not that many of those made. And yeah, I love the CR, but you know, I bought the CR and driving it, and I'm thinking, wow, this thing, it reminds me of my Ap1, my old Ap1. And so then I had to go back and get an Ap1 and compare it, because you know, you get there and you say, what the heck am I getting for an extra, you know, 20,000 bucks? What am I getting? And so that's a little ridiculous to put this in perspective and say, hey, I spent, you know, an extra $20,000 on this CR. What am I getting? Well, with the CR, you're getting a car that's collectible. That's the idea with the CR. If you want to race around on the cheap, I would go back for an Ap1. With the Ap1, you have a quicker steering ratio. That's one of the most notable things you get in it, and you feel it. The steering wheel is a little bit different. It feels like it might be smaller. I'm not certain on that. And the gear ratios work. With the Ap2, the power band is so annoying. This, I don't even rev it out all the way and I fall right back into VTEC. It's just a much better overall package. The AP2, you have to rev it to the limit to get it to fall into VTEC in second gear. And yeah, you can tune it. I tuned my AP2 because I got the 2006 and later ones. I tuned it and I got more power out of it. I extended the rev limit. I lowered VTEC and it was much better. But the AP1, right out of the box, it just works. You know, on the forums, it sort of turns into a pissing match. They talk about the little changes they made over the years. Yeah, they changed the seats. Yeah, they changed the steering rack. They changed the suspension. The engine's bigger, but you know, so what? Who cares? This is a bargain. And my money that I save is in the bank. I'm earning interest on that. And I am, you know, I'm just laughing all the way to the bank driving the AP1. So what do I recommend? If you're a younger guy, you're worried about saving money, buy a good condition AP1, absolutely, hands down. Yes, the AP2 looks better. It has better looking headlights, it has better looking taillights, it has better looking rims, wider tires, all that, blah, 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 blah. You can get traction control in the later years, but man, this is fun. This is a bargain. I cannot believe it. I am having so much fun right now, and I'm glad I did this because it's kind of an eye-opening experience. Not just to get back into an AP1, but I actually went out and bought one so I could give you guys a more honest opinion on it. I want to talk about some issues over the years with the S2000s. The early AP1s can have some transmission issues, you can feel that. They also had a plastic window, but you can swap that out. I have a glass window in mine, and so I don't have to worry about that. The AP2s had better, you know, a better stereo. It still sucked, but they had a better stereo. They have tweeters in the doors. This radio has been upgraded so I can hear it. You can find other AP1s with upgraded radios, and you can upgrade everything in the aftermarket. So I think that all of these small little complaints about why the AP2 is better, I think it's just silly, because everything seems to swap over. So, you know, my advice on buying an S2000 is buy the best condition one for the best price that you can and enjoy it. So then we go and we talk about the valve issues. The S2000, the AP1, if you over rev it, you can crack the valve retainers. When I bought my last one, it had cracked retainers. I made a video about it. I'm gonna go in and check this one too. I'm not super worried about it, but you know, I'm gonna do it. Then the 2004 to 2005, those ones were very solid cars. You know, they can go forever without a worry. And then Honda comes out with the 06. And you know, I was all up on the 06 because I could tune it really easily with the Flash Pro, and I was like, oh yes, I love the 06, it's great. But then the more I work on 06s, the more I see the tight valves on the exhaust side, and people are burning valves and they're having to pull their head and do engine work. And I'm not really recommending the 06 anymore unless you do a thorough check. You do a compression test and everything, because the 06 can be a headache. It's almost not a Honda anymore. One of the beautiful things about Honda is you buy them, you drive the hell out of them, and they just keep going. With the 06, you really need to worry about that valve issue, and I also had to worry about that when I picked up my CR. And luckily, the previous owners had taken great care of it. My engine was in great shape. My valves were pretty much all perfect. I only had to make slight changes to 2 valves when I pulled the valve cover on that car. And that's a great car. I love the CR. The CR, if you can find one, I would also recommend buying one of those. That is definitely worth it. But if you're trying to save money, and I know some people are younger here on YouTube, trying to save money, you want to get out to the track and hang out with your friends, buy an Ap1 S2000. It is very cheap to run this car, because I was playing with some stupid expensive cars, and you know, I played with an E90 M3, I played with a Dodge Viper, I played with a Corvette Z06, and the impression that I'm left with when I'm playing with these cars is what am I getting out of owning this car? What am I getting out of this? Where's the value? And you know, I didn't see much value in those very expensive cars. There is a good value in the Z06, but I mean, the Viper, the E90 M3, you're talking, I mean, where I moved to now, I live in Sacramento now, those cars, you know, cost more than a down payment on a house. I think the AP1, it gets a little too much hate. They say it's too twitchy, they say this, they say that, but all that stuff that people complain about with the AP1, it gives it the character, and that's what makes this a fun car. And so, you know, if I'm going out for a drive and I have the choice to go in an AP1 or an AP2 or a CR, what am I going to pick? I'm going to pick an AP1. I'm going to pick this car. I don't know what it is. It's just more fun.